the chamber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new video, and I'm sorry for the month-long wait. I just was busy with other stuff going on in my life, but we're back at it again with a brand new video, and this time, I'm going to review an entire show, because last time I did a video, I reviewed a match, and that was Cena and AJ at the Royal Rumble in 2017. So why not review the Elimination Chamber from 2012 that I just watched recently with one of my friends? So let's get right into it. We are live in Milwaukee for this atrocity, and we kick off with the WWE Chamber match between the champion CM Punk defending the title against The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Chris Jericho, and Kofi Kingston. The first two are Punk and Kofi Kingston. They had a good opening sequence, but it ends when Dolph Ziggler enters the match number 3. He comes in, lays out both of them, but then he missed a corner splash and got turned into a punching bag. Let's hear it. He got turned into the Smash Bros. Sandbag in this match. Kofi and Punk tried the Logan Paul and Ricochet spot from 2023, but it didn't look as good as it did 11 years later. And up next is R-Truth, and he damn near kills Dolph Ziggler by doing a hit toss onto the steel floor. That looked nasty. CM Punk ends his run with a huge knee and a superplex off the top rope. Then after just being 2 minutes into the match, CM Punk would eliminate R-Truth with a diving elbow. This was kind of an odd elimination because CM Punk has never really beat anybody with a flying elbow before, and R-Truth legit just got into the match like 2 minutes ago, so I don't know why they just got him out that quickly. Next up is The Miz, and The Miz body slams Kofi Kingston onto the steel floor and almost hits a GTS, but he takes out Punk with a DDT. The next man out is Chris Jericho, and he and Punk will give a little preview of their feud going into WrestleMania, as Jericho would have a Bulldog and a Lion Salt, but only for a 2 count. Dolph tried to do a roll-up, but Jericho would kick out and hit a code breaker for the elimination. CM Punk would catapult Chris Jericho right onto the middle floor. Chris would lock himself in a pod. CM Punk tried to get him out, but Chris uses the door of the pod against him, and damn near fucking murders CM Punk in the situation. Kingston would sneak up from behind in an SOS on Jericho onto the same floor. Miz comes back for a crossbody by Kofi Kingston on the top of the pod, which looked pretty good. Jericho would eliminate Kingston with a Lion Tamer, but Jericho would keep on attacking Kofi after eliminating him. But CM Punk would hit a roundhouse kick to Jericho from behind and would kick him out the chamber. Now, when this happened, me and my friend were watching this and we were dying laughing because Chris Jericho barely fell more than 2 feet off the chamber into a cameraman on the floor. That was a pretty funny moment, to be honest, and low-key was kind of like the entire highlight of the whole pay-per-view. But pretty much, this causes Chris Jericho to get eliminated from the match, and is now down to Miz and CM Punk as the last two. The Miz would catch CM Punk into a skull crusher finale, but that won't give him a 2 count. CM Punk would avoid Miz's running shoulder tackle into a GTS and would retain the championship. This match was decent. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't really that good for a chamber standard. Although it's probably better than most chambers nowadays. Backstage, we see Santino Marella drinking a glass full of eggs in preparation for a chamber match going on later on tonight. And next up, we have for the Divas Championship, it's going to be Tamina challenging Beth Phoenix for the championship. There's not a lot to talk about here with this matchup. This match wouldn't look too out of place out of a Raw or a SmackDown, but it was alright, I guess. This match was basically a Tamina showcase match, which she wouldn't get until 2025, and I mean, that was probably the worst match of the entire showcase, but regardless, this match was pretty alright. Early on in the match, Tamina would fall pretty hard on the outside floor, which gave Beth the chance to pretty much take control of the entire matchup here, and Tamina will only hit like a Samoan drop and a super kick, and her finisher to Splash, but it went through a 2 count. She would try it again, but Beth would counter and hit a Glam Slam for the 3 count. Like I said, nothing you wouldn't see on a Raw or SmackDown during this time period. We cut back to another backstage segment with Santino Marella, where he's beating his meat. Moving on, we have a anti-Taylong crusade, because this episode built into a 12-man tag team match between Team Dollar Laurinaitis against Team Taylong for control of both brands, and I could not give a fuck. I mean, this was a very long segment, and it did nothing. No match happened, nothing big happened, just talking and talking and talking. Just pure nonsense. But next up, we have another Santino segment as he will run up the Milwaukee stairs. Rocky, you are a fucking bum compared to Santino Marella. Next up, we have the Big Show doing an interview about the chamber match coming up in just a few minutes, and saying that it is imperative for him to win the match. Okay, big man, sure. Which, up next, we have the World Heavyweight Title chamber match between the champion, Daniel Bryan, defending the title against the IC champion, Cody Rhodes, Santino Rocky Marella, Wade Barrett, Big Show, and the Great Khali. And, oh my god, the first two are Wade Barrett and the Big Show. This is probably the most boring first two in the entire history of the chamber match, because my god, this was not entertaining at all. Thankfully, Cody would get in pretty soon, well, fucking eternity, but still. He would get to Big Show, but then get absolutely demolished, and then Big Show went back to doing age wrestling with fucking Wade Barrett. More boring action. Barrett and Rhodes would do a total elimination on the Big Show, but that would get him a 2 count. Rocky Balboa would come out and start going a bit crazy, I can't even lie to you, but Big Show sadly put a stop to that. Cody finally gets some offense on the Big Show, and the Team Undisputed Era with a double suplex on the outside steel to the Big Show, and a very clear, audible, boring chant will ring around Milwaukee. Back in the ring, we see a beautiful moonsault by Cody Rhodes onto Wade Barrett, and the immobile Great Khali would come out. And he and his barely functioning legs were going on a rampage with brain chops and choke slams. And as soon as he stops to breathe, because he just went through probably the hardest performance he ever had since like 2008, an outstanding moment happens. The Big Show, 7 feet tall, 300 plus pounds, would inherit the spirit of Rey Mysterio Sr., no Jr., and would use all of his speed to hit a nasty spear, which makes Jey Uso look like dog shit in comparison, and would eliminate the Great Khali after he was just in the match for damn near less than a minute. My god, that was the entire highlight of the whole chamber match. Like, the following final two was pretty elite, but if we being real, that moment was just too damn good. I mean, the Big Show using all the speed, and the Great Khali turning into Will Ospreay out here with the selling he did of the spear. I mean, that was just top notch. Legit, just in there for the paycheck. But my god, what a moment that was. After getting Khali out of the match, the Big Show would target Daniel Bryan, who was still in his pod. He would break the chain roof of the pod and started beating Daniel Bryan's ass. The countdown would pass by, and both would leave the chamber pod, but then Big Show would just send Bryan into the pod and hit a chokeslam, but Wade Barrett would take out Big Show before trying to cover. Santino tried to roll him up, but takes a big boot by Wade Barrett. The Undisputed Era would team up on Big Show, hitting a disaster kick off the chamber wall, a DDT by Cody, and a Wade elbow would eliminate the Big Show. Santino would roll up Cody Rhodes though to eliminate him from the match as well. Santino would take a crossroads, but he would kick out after Wade Barrett tried to cover on him. Wade would powerbomb Daniel Bryan onto the chamber wall, and Daniel decapitated him with the chamber pod, but Daniel Bryan would come back with a flying knee onto Wade Barrett, but then again gets taken out. Santino would avoid Wade Barrett's elbow drop, and Daniel Bryan would hit a flying headbutt onto Wade Barrett for Santino to make a cover and get the elimination. So now it is down to Santino Marella and Daniel Bryan. And this was a pretty memorable final two, especially nowadays, with the story of Santino potentially winning the match and title was very interesting to see. Santino would get a few moments of almost getting the championship, like he hit the Cobra on Daniel Bryan, but he wouldn't get a 2 count, and Daniel Bryan would immediately lock in the yes lock to make Santino tap out and retain the championship. This was a pretty decent final two, to be honest, and this chamber was just pretty weak. Like, even when you have the highlights of Big Show hitting the spear and that final two, it was a pretty bad chamber match. After the match ended, Sheamus would come out and hit Daniel Bryan with a white noise to signify that he's gonna choose Bryan at WrestleMania 28. And what a match those two would have, right? What a match. Now up next we have maybe the worst segment I've ever seen, as we have Hornswoggle eating cheese backstage, Natalya showing up, ripping a fart out, and then we see Justin Gabriel, Jack Swagger, who I did not know was US champion until this segment, and Vicky Guerrero. They were just bullying around Hornswoggle. Justin tried to stand up for him. Teddy Long shows up and makes a US title match for like 2 minutes after this, and man, this was a really bad segment. Like, I'm not going into full on what they said. It's not as bad, but like, it was a pretty shitty ass segment. No pun intended. And now we have Justin Gabriel, Jack Swagger for the United States title. This match was less than 5 minutes, and it ended in a fucking ankle lock. No one cared. There was no reaction. This was just a filler match to the boring ass main events coming up in like a few minutes. Like, this was just horrible. Welcome to 2012 WWE, y'all. This shit was fucking horrible. And now it's time for our main event. John Cena versus 2012 Kane in a goddamn ambulance match. And I mean, pretty boring main event, low-key. Like, there was some fun stuff in here, but let's get right into it. These two start with a brawl all the way going to the stage near the ambulance, but they soon do get back to the ring. And there's actually a pretty cool reversal here by John Cena, where he countered a Kane clothesline into a midair dropkick. Cena gets AA reverse into a little claw, which I forgot Kane even did that during this time. Cena gets driven up to the ambulance on a wheelchair, but Cena uses the wheelchair on his factor and sends Kane into the production area with it, which is kind of cool, to be honest. Then they use any random weapon they found into the crowd. Then at ringside, Kane chokeslams Cena through the announce table, but we know that doesn't do shit to Super Cena around this time. Cena fights back and lures Kane to the top of the ambulance. Hits an AA of the ambulance, and pretty much signifies the end of this match as he packs and smokes Kane back into the mid-card for the win. Man, like, that legit did the entire match. Like, I know it was pretty quick, but that was legit the entire match. Just some fighting, weapon shots, AA reverse, chokeslam through table, AA of the ambulance, and that's it. Nothing really special here. And this sends John Cena into The Rock at WrestleMania, so, yeah. I mean, watching this show back, it kind of, like, enlightened my opinion of the show. It wasn't all bad, but man, it was just a pretty weak pay-per-view by WWE. Especially around 2012, where a lot of shows weren't even that good. Even the weeklies were pretty dog shit. It was just not that good. Overall, this is probably the worst chamber show of all time.